All right, back for another video. Hopefully, like people like the shout out on the thumbnail as far as the Yates rows go. This was another early morning lift. I actually got up at 3 o'clock this Friday morning. Not for any other reason, but then just to get my mind right for the lift itself. I can't just get up and go straight into the garage and start lifting. I need time to like chill out, drink some coffee and stuff. So I got up at 3 and then didn't start really lifting until about 4 o'clock, which works out well for me. I know that probably seems psychotic as far as why get up that early if you're not going to lift until 4. I need time to kind of get my mind right. I would say all of my lifts on Friday are never fantastic just because of the fact of getting up so early, but just is what it is. I know that it would be even worse if I did it after school on Fridays. It seems like there's always something that comes up, whether I'm at a football game or family stuff. So it's just better to get up early in the morning. I have my seated laterals. I really like these as far as even though they're unsupported, I still feel like I get a lot of good shoulder work out of it. So definitely really recommend those, both supported and unsupported. Speaking of unsupported, I got my dumbbell face pulls. These are okay. I really need to get a incline bench. That'll probably be happening in the new year. But for right now, I got my flat bench, so I got to do these unsupported face pulls. Still like them for my upper back. It's just, this early in the morning, it would be nice to lay down a little bit and do my face pulls as opposed to bend over and do them. The overhead tricep extension, talked about this last week. One of my favorite tricep exercises. I would say one of the most underrated ones as well. All you need is a barbell and some weight, and you can get a great tricep stimulus with it. I did 75 again for 2 sets of 10. I definitely was a little out of sorts on this morning, so didn't push anything too hard, especially getting ready for my bench. The bench, same thing. We're doing 5-3-1, but I work up to that single at whatever the top percentage is that day. So in this case, it was working up to a single at 90%. But I'm going to go back through. I ended up doing 2 sets of everything. I might have only had 1 set videoed for everything, but I ended up doing 2 sets. The protocol or the program calls for 2 to 3 sets, so it's really kind of dependent on how I'm feeling and how progress is going. So I've been doing well off of 2 sets, so that's what I'm staying with. Again, I talked about in other videos, I kind of have the habit of, well, if 2 sets is good, why not a third? Especially if I'm feeling good. But I'm really trying to pull the reins during this program, especially because of, as I've talked about before, doing a lot of sprinting and things like that. I mean, albeit it's shitty sprinting nonetheless. So trying to make sure I have energy to do all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I trained at 4 in the morning, ended up being 4. On that Friday, went in, got my kids dressed, ready for school, and then I left, went to school / where I work at, and then ran hills there. So here's my single at 90%. This ended up being, what was this? Let's look at the logbook. This ended up being 220 for the single, which, I mean, again, it was like 5+ reps in reserve. Nothing crazy with this. And then went down to 70%. This was 170. Did this for 5. I ranked it as anything that's over 5. You can't, I mean, it's really hard to tell at that point. So I ranked this at 5+ reps in reserve. As I've talked about before with RPE, reps in reserve, people get really bogged down by semantics of, was that really 1? Was that really 2? Well, if it wasn't 1 or 2 reps in reserve, did you really get anything out of it? I mean, God, the amount of nonsense that happens on the internet is crazy. I think consistency matters more so than anything. String together good training sessions, good bar speed is really the name of the game. As you get closer to competitions, things like that, obviously it becomes a little bit more important to push. But for right now, I just want good, solid work in. I want good bar speed. I don't need to really grind anything out right now. And this is especially true from a sports performance standpoint as a strength and conditioning coach for both high school athletes and then also, my online business that I run. This is kind of what I look for. So I'm trying to practice what I preach. This is what I look for my athletes and my clients. Like, I want good bar speed. I want working hard, but I also just want good quality consistency. So I don't know what set this ended up being because I'm just rambling on at this point. But all my benches felt pretty good. I ended up doing 3 sets at 90%. I'm not doing any plus sets right now, like on a traditional 5-3-1 where we're doing as many reps as we can on the last set. I'm either cutting it at 1, or if it feels really good and I feel like I'm making progress off it, then I'll do 2 to 3 for upper body. Generally for lower body, I'm just going to stick to 1 because it's just more taxing. So this one I ended up hitting 3 sets at 90%, so 3 sets of 5 at 220, which, this worked out pretty well. I apologize for saying so much in this video. It's late on a Sunday, filming this, or not filming it, but doing the voiceover, so I'm giving it the best I can. I got my Yates rows, as we talked about in the beginning of the video. I love Yates rows. Best lat stimulus for someone who has very limited access to machines and things like that. I actually dropped weight on this. I don't remember what I ended up doing. I think I did 205 last week, but I dropped down to ended up being 185 for 13 with a few reps in reserve. Felt a lot better. Lats felt a lot better. And then we got the king of all upper body exercises, the overhead behind the neck press. I'm not actually pushing this the way that I'm pushing my other lifts. I don't plan on testing this. That's not true. I'm probably going to test this, but I just don't have it set up in the same way that I have my overhead press, my bench press, squat, deadlift. Like I don't have a traditional 5-3-1 setup for it, but still probably going to test it. I ended up doing 105 for sets of 7 with about 3 reps in reserve. It's feeling good. It's just amazing how much, I guess this is kind of goes without saying, but it's amazing how much the early morning really kind of zaps your strength. I just kind of go through these sessions, and I think they're good quality sessions looking back on them, but Jesus, I do not remember most of it after I get done. It ends up being a blur. But everything ends up feeling good, and when I look back on videos, I'm like, all right, well, everything moved well. It's almost like I'm in a fog majority of the time, even though, like I said, it's good quality work. Just feels like I'm in a fog on these early morning on Fridays. Dips, talked about it before, very underrated exercise. These new kids nowadays, they don't want to do dips. Dips are hard. They'd rather get on a machine, and I'm all about machines, but let's exhaust the basics a little bit. Let's strap some weight to us and do some dips. Dips I really pushed hard over the summer, and then I kind of backed off. I ended up with 55 for 8. I think the top I did over the summer was, I don't know, I want to say it was like 85 or 95 or something like that. But backed way off, got better reps. All works out pretty well. Shoulders feel better. Elbows feel better with this. The tendonitis doesn't seem to get bothered. But yeah, just really trying to kind of push my chest and my triceps right now and trying to build up the bench without actually benching so much, which I think is working quite well. As I've talked about before, we'll see come that December, January timeframe when I actually test my bench press. Next week, I'll end up doing a 5+ set for my last week of this wave of 5-3-1. We got some hill sprints. These felt pretty terrible. Not nearly as good as last week. I'm focusing way too much on knee drive as opposed to kind of pushing the ground away. So I'm just losing a lot of energy and not having a lot of power output. So I was pretty frustrated. I didn't end up doing the jumps on this day either. I just kind of chalked it up to a loss. So not a bad day, not a great day. It was a solid day. And that's all I can really ask for with my training sessions. Just good, solid 4-day-a-week training sessions, good sprint sessions, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, as always, you get something out of this. If you did, please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff.